That one right there. Thing one is you. Thing one is you. Thing one is you.
Thing two is you.
Thing one is you. Thing one is you.
Emily's thing two. The other one is thing one.
The other one.
Christine. You guys are sneaky. They switched their tags on you.
She handed me the wrong one.
Okay, Christine is thing two.
Now they really messed you
No,
up.
that's Emily.
I knew it.
I was born second.
That's me. It's a little hard to tell in that one. All right. You can move to the next one. This is our family. Okay. I don't know who's crying. I think that's. Oh, it's so hard. The picture's so grainy.
That's me.
You think that's you?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. We were born premature, so we were really tiny babies when we were born. But we grew up in a Christian home right from the beginning. We heard about God. We attended church. We went to Christian school. We were in church on Wednesday nights and in Awana programs. I don't remember a time when I didn't know about God or the Bible. You can go to the next one. Okay. So there we were. I still can't. I don't know who it is. My mom does. We got some of these photos from my mom's Facebook. All right, you can go to the next one. I love that photo.
That I can guess.
Yeah, guess this one.
Emily first, you second.
So, what are you are from the left?
or right?
Emily, Christine.
You think that's Emily?
I'm here.
That's not Emily, that's me.
Okay.
See?
The same way as thing two, thing one.
All right, you can go to the next one. All right, so these are our cousins. We have twin cousins. And that was us. And this is about the time period that we both first made a profession of faith. So we went to Vacation Bible School at our church, and one of my friends was just really, really happy and smiley. And I was like, what's going on? Why are you so happy? And she told me that we needed to go talk to somebody. And so Emily and I both ended up speaking to our pastor and his wife, and they led us in a profession of faith and prayers of salvation to the Lord. All right? And that was about, I think this is like third grade, so second grade. Okay, can you go to the next one? So about middle school, though, we both began to doubt our salvation. Okay, even though I doubted my salvation, I didn't want to talk to anybody because I was so embarrassed. I was struggling with feeling like I didn't understand. I was thinking in my head, oh, you didn't really understand what you were doing when you prayed that prayer. Like, you don't really understand what salvation is. You're not really saved. And so I would take moments where I would get so fearful about whether or not I was a believer that I would just pray and say, God, please save me. Like, please forgive me my sins. Like, I would wake up at night kind of terrified that I was going to go to hell because I wasn't sure my salvation had worked. All right, and this was something that plagued me for a while, and I should have spoken to somebody about it, but I was just so embarrassed. I didn't want anybody to know that I was having doubts. I didn't want anybody to know that I didn't think I was a Christian. And honestly, it took up until right before my senior year of high school, before I got peace from the Lord. So we went to a summer camp. That was a Christian camp called The Wilds, and it's a great camp. If any of you guys go there, it's a wonderful place. And at the beginning of the week, our counselor gave everybody a 3x5 card. And she told us to write on our 3x5 card a number from 1 to 10 on how sure we were that we were saved, with 10 being like, I know I am saved. Well, I wanted to be honest, so I'm like, I'm gonna put a 9 because that doesn't look bad. It's almost a 10. And everything will be okay. Well, she caught me later that week and she said, I noticed that you put a 9, like you don't seem like you're sure of your salvation. And she could tell right away that I didn't want to talk about it at that time. I was like, no, I'm nervous, I don't want to speak to you about it, I'm kind of embarrassed. And so she encouraged me to come talk to her after the message that night. And so I did. And actually it was a wonderful discussion. So as soon as we started talking, I just spilled it all out to her. I told her, I don't know if I'm a believer. I don't know if it really worked. I'm just so afraid. And I've tried to pray, I tried to pray and ask for God to forgive me, but I just don't feel forgiven. I don't feel like I'm a Christian. I don't feel like it's working. Well, she was very sweet and understanding, and she took me, can you go to the next one? To Romans chapter 10, verse 13. And it says, "For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved." And she told me to put my name in place of whosoever. She said, "For if Christine shall call upon the name of the Lord, she shall be saved." And this was a very pivotal moment for me. It was a moment where I finally realized that it wasn't up to me or a prayer that I prayed. That wasn't what saved me. It was all God. It was all the work of Jesus on the cross. Okay? It wasn't anything I could do for myself. It was God who had given me this gift. So I loved our conversation, finally knowing that on whom I have believed. And I knew that I wasn't going to let Satan plague me with worry anymore or doubts, that I was a child of God and nothing could take that away from me. So I want to encourage you guys, if any of you struggle with your faith, if you're just not sure, please ask questions. Okay, God loves to hear our questions. And ask questions of people that you trust. Ask your friends, ask your family, ask your youth leaders, because people want to help you. Like, don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed like me and let it just eat you up from the inside. You can go to the next one. Okay. So after high school, we went to Clemson for college. Clemson Tigers? I know they're not doing so great right now, but anyway. They'll come back. We know they'll come back. And thank you. And I pursued an elementary education degree, and Emily was pursuing secondary ed, but she later switched to English because she realized she didn't really want to be in the classroom, which is totally fine. And we joined a church up there that our brother had joined when he went to Clemson. And the church had a college ministry, and it was here that I really began to see growth in my walk with the Lord. We had Bible study every week. We had a Sunday school class that would meet on Sunday nights and eat a meal that usually somebody in the church prepared for us. And it was just so nice and wonderful to be in a place with people my age who were so on fire for God. They taught me that you can be joyful when you're serving the Lord, and that you can share your burdens with other people in prayer, and you can pray together, and how much that lifts you up and helps you know that you're not alone and that you've got somebody else beside you who is supporting you. And it also gave me some really needed leadership experience. This is what we call a power group. It's like a community group, except it was just girls, and then they had the guys groups on their own stuff. And you just met and you read the Bible, you shared what God was doing in your heart, and that really helps grow you as a Christian. So I really encourage you guys, when you go off to college, like Tanner said, don't step away from the Lord, okay? If you're going somewhere that's not close to home, find a good church where they are preaching the Bible, right? It might take a couple tries. It might not work the first time, but don't stop trying, okay? It helps if you have a friend to go with you, but even if you don't have a friend, find a good church, get plugged in somewhere, make sure you're in a community, because it really helps your faith, okay? Secular universities like Clemson have people in them who will try to shake you off your foundation the moment you come in. So just don't step away from God. Can you go back? Go to the next one. All right, so I did graduate. I got my teaching degree. I was so excited, and then I didn't get a job. And I was so disappointed. Like, I was not very good at interviewing. I'm probably still not very good at job interviews. I just get too nervous and flustered. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm a little better now that I've done a couple, but I was so nervous. I didn't get a teaching job, and I was really bummed. I was like, this is what I wanted to do. God, what are you doing with my life? But then he gave me the opportunity to be a nanny for a year, to work with a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old and take care of them during the summer, and then later during the school year after they were out of school. I guess one of them was in daycare. But, and I didn't realize it when I didn't get a teaching job, but God knew I needed some more time with kids so I could understand them. I'd forgotten what it was like to be a kid. When you grow up, you kind of do forget. And having that experience with those littles taught me a lot about being patient and about the way kids think, and he knew I needed that before I could step into teaching. But it was only for a year, and then God brought me to a small Christian school that was in Somerville, and I got to teach second grade my first year, and then I got to teach third grade the other years I was there, and I was there for 4 years. And God taught me a lot of lessons as a teacher. I got to teach Bible, and let me tell you this, if you're ever going to be someone who teaches, you learn that subject way more when you're teaching it than when you're just sitting listening to it as a student. Because you gotta know your stuff, because those kids will ask their questions, and some of those questions are questions that I don't think anybody knows the answer to. But it's just was really cool to see how God grew me, where I was teaching Bible stories that I had known since I was a child, but I saw them in different lights because I was able to bring out different truths that God has stored in them. Okay, but sadly my school closed. We were not able to have enough students, so we ended up closing, and I was without a job. And I was like, okay, God, here I am again. I don't have a job. What you gonna do? And God brought me to my current school, which is the school that I actually went to for high school. But I was working in the elementary side of the building, which I'd never been in because I didn't go there for elementary school. And so that's Teacher Me on a field trip to Bee City. And this is my class for this year. It was class color day, so we picked blue. And I was glad they picked blue because that's a common color that we all have. But those are my babies. And I really love it. I love what I do. I love getting to talk to my kids and to teach the Bible. I know a lot of you guys don't go to a Christian school, so you're in public school where you may not hear the gospel spoken or taught. But I'm thankful we live in a country where I can do that. Okay, I think the next one. Okay, so after leaving college, we realized that even though we loved our home church where our parents were still attending, there wasn't anybody there who was our age. So we started looking around, trying to find a church with a young adult group, and we ended up landing on Somerville. And it was really nice. This was before the Rumbles even got here. I think it was about just a year before they got here. And we enjoyed the messages, and we did join a community group, but it still didn't have like a lot of younger people. We were kind of like in that in-between college and like 25, 20 year age, and so we were kind of like not finding anybody. But then Joey, Pastor Joey became the pastor, and he and Miss Jenny started a young adult group in their home almost immediately. Like they didn't even give themselves time to breathe. And we got to attend, and it was just so nice. It was almost like when we were back in college with our power groups, just having people the same age as you who are pursuing God and who were encourage and help you learn and grow was a wonderful experience. And so community groups, they work, guys. They really help you grow in your faith. And then we even started serving in the church. Okay, we didn't do lots of serving at our old church, so maybe we helped out with like children's church as kids, but honestly I was still a kid at that point. I didn't really know what I was doing. We started serving as greeters, which was fun. We enjoyed that. And then we got the opportunity to join and serve in youth group, which was a lot different when we started out. But it's just been really cool to see how God has grown it here and to see how he grows all of you. And so this is a picture that we took at the winter retreat. This is some of the people who went. This was before the shaving cream battle. I was taking the picture because I didn't want to be in the shaving cream battle, which is why I took it. But it's just, make sure when you do start attending church or you're on your own, like don't let opportunities to serve the Lord slip through your fingers. Even if you have to step out of your comfort zone. And I'm an elementary teacher. I love third graders. Those are my kids. It's my jam. You guys, you're kind of out of my comfort zone. But you're great. I love you guys. Out of your comfort zone and be willing to serve the Lord, because He can teach you things that you didn't know He was going to teach you. He can grow your faith, and He can use you and use your testimony to impact other people for Him. So I want to leave you with 3 things, okay? If you ever doubt your faith, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask God to lead you to someone who can help you. And even if you're embarrassed, you still gotta push through and ask those questions. When you leave high school and go off to college or the workforce, don't step away from the Lord, okay? Don't step away from church, okay? Find a place that tells you about the Lord that can help you grow in Him. And then get involved, make connections, get involved serving, even if you're stepping out of your comfort zone, okay? I'm excited to see what God does in your life. All right, it's your turn.
Woo!
All right, guess which one's which?
Emily. Woo!
Where'd he go?
When we were in elementary school, our friends would be like, okay, I'm going to turn my back and you change positions, and then I'm going to guess which one is which.
Didn't you already go?
Yes. All right, we're done.
We're gonna switch.
All right. So she covered a lot of our life because we've shared it for 33 years in county. Same childhood, same school. Went to a Christian school. Went to a Christian church. Didn't really know what life was like without believing in God some way or another. This is kindergarten graduation. I'm pretty sure I'm the one who's losing the hat, and she's the one who's looking so beautiful. But when you're in an environment like a Christian school, you're constantly bombarded by scripture. It's a good thing, but you do get it a lot. So after the initial profession of faith, which I didn't really understand what we were doing, we just went because we went. I probably went because I was following her, which tends to happen. She came first, and she still comes first in a lot of things. Started having doubts in middle school. Yeah, sure enough. Which I told Tanner earlier, we ran into our awkward stage and we haven't really left it. So.
He said we were awesome.
But maybe we're in an awesome stage now.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, you have doubts in middle school because with the gospel comes the very real reality of hell, and it's scary, and you don't want to deal with it. But you also don't want to deal with the horrifying thing that you have to talk to another person about what you're feeling like. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to reveal that, oh, I didn't actually know what I was talking about when I got saved and got baptized, and now I need to explain, maybe I got it wrong, maybe I don't actually understand. But what's worse is, you get nervous, you get scared. You don't want to talk to anybody about that kind of thing. So I didn't for a long time. But we went to the Wilds Christian camp, wonderful place. Music is slightly different, still a wonderful place. I think we were in 7th grade or 8th grade. Probably 7th grade.
That's our brother, so.
Maybe.
Who did?
That's our
That's
brother.
our brother. He shot up.
You can see he was a
He got a
Can you
bit
hear
big over the years.
He's in Spartanburg.
Yeah. But we were at camp and we were listening to preaching, and I don't know what he was talking about, but for some reason I went outside and I talked to a counselor, and she asked me, why are you out here? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh great, now I don't even remember why I'm out here. So I'm like, well, I'll just say, I don't know if I'm saved. That's the safe thing to say. So I said that, and then my heart's pounding the whole time because I really didn't know if I was saved. In fact, I was really pretty sure I wasn't saved. She talked to me, she gave me verses. I'm starting to bawl because I'm, nervous and all that kind of stuff. But I do remember asking Jesus to save me, and he did. And this great sense of relief was just washed over me. Big old weight gone, sense of relief. It's great. It's wonderful. I think I was about 12. Yep. We're still relatively the same people. Through high school, we got some leadership opportunities. We got to be part of a yearbook. which was fun. I got to be editor, which was fun, and I could boss people around. So that was good preparation and training for college when, as you said, we had power groups. And one of the power groups I was part of was the international group, which mostly were Chinese ladies. And these are people, I don't know if you guys know about Christianity in China, it's very different than it is here. You can't be a Christian in China legally. It's not safe. In fact, you can get persecuted. So these believers who were Chinese were here to learn about Jesus, and they sought after him in ways that American Christians just don't do, because we have it everywhere. We don't need to worry about getting killed or disappeared for our beliefs like they have to. So seeing them, seeing their love for Jesus helped reinvigorate me and help me become, I think, a better leader, someone who's more interested in learning more about the Bible. The church we went to had a new pastor too, who had been a missionary to the Marshall Islands, and he opened the Bible up to us in ways that we hadn't gotten before, or it was also probably just being older. Your brain opens up a little bit more when you go to college and you start to learn more things about yourself and also about the world around you and how big it is. Book of Ruth and Book of Jonah are not what you think they are. Reread again. Anyway, we graduated college. I got a job at MUSC, which was a tough job. I didn't like being in a big person job. I only lasted a year and a half. I ran away to grad school at College of Charleston. That's some friends of ours. You can skip that one, we can come back to that.
Okay.
And I did graduate, College of Charleston. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Various people. That was my professor, one of my professors. That's my friend Tim. Tim was also a Christian. I did not know when I went to grad school that I would have a Christian friend in my classes, and it was wonderful. We got to talk about things that I wouldn't have been able to talk about with my other classmates, because he was a believer like I was. We talked about politics. The class we had right after Trump won was very interesting. Most of our classmates and our professors were looking like someone had died, and me and Tim were like, trying not to smile. That was 2016, so. But, what was I? It is important to, if you go to college, if you go to grad school, if you go anywhere away from your home church, to find a church or to find another Christian to talk to. It keeps you sane as a believer. It helps you to not start getting affected by the world as much. So do that. Don't walk away from it. Don't think, oh, I don't need this, I'm okay, I'll just read my Bible and pray, I'll be fine. You need other people. God did not design the Christian life to be walked alone. You need someone else to do it with you. Okay? And we were also in the young adult group too at the time at church. So that was also very helpful too. It wasn't just him, but it's good. Yeah, that's our family. Big thing, the good thing about being a Christian is you get to pass it on to the younger generation. Y'all are part of that. But also my niece Eden, my nephew Jacob. When you have a small person in your life that you're related to and you're suddenly having to take care of them, it's significant. Ask any parent. I'm not a parent. This is the closest that I got, unless you count the cats. But you really start to rethink how you act, how you think. What am I actually passing down to these small people? Okay. How much time do we have? Short job history. I got a job at Christine School after grad school. I had majored in communication, and the job at her school, this is a small school in Somerville, was kind of PR, kind of public relations. I was managing the Facebook page, I was making videos, I was making content. It was good. It was a part-time job, didn't pay much at all, but I was doing the thing that I had gone to school for, which was great. And then the church that was part of the school felt like it was fighting the school the entire way that year. fighting us, saying, hey, we don't have enough students, we're gonna close, all this kind of stuff. And we kept trying, and they even had a new administrator, a new headmistress hired that we thought was going to turn things around. But the church decided to close the school, which means I didn't have a job anymore, that I was doing what I wanted to do. And I got resentful. And I started wondering if God knew what he was doing with my life, because it wasn't turning out the way I wanted it to. I got a job at an insurance company. It was good, because I learned a bunch of stuff about how the world works. But 3 years of people mad at me on the phone and dealing with coworkers who were dumping work on me because they weren't doing their jobs properly made me very angry with God. And I wasn't a nice person to my sister. I was good at maintaining good fun, but I wasn't a nice person. I was suffering from my own anger issues, and it wasn't good. But we went to the Freedom Conference. We went through the Freedom Book, and I had the biggest realization in my Christian walk, aside from salvation and stuff so far, is that I thought I was better than what God had for me. I don't know if you guys have a life plan. It's not going to turn out that way. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to turn out that way. And when it doesn't, how are you going to react? Are you going to get angry and resentful like I did? And lash out at the people that you love most? Or are you going to realize God has something bigger for you than you even understand yet? So anyway, Freedom Conference, I asked for forgiveness. I got rid of the anger. Insurance boss retired, so I got a new job at her school with new challenges. But she told me last night, I think it was, that I'm a happier person now. And I am taking on the challenges with a different sort of perspective in mind, thinking God can get me through this, whatever this is, and he will continue to grow me in ways I don't understand. But that's great. Joy to serve. And then on a happy note, last summer we got to go to Japan. That was cool. That was great. But we also got to have a little bit of an experience with Christians who, again, were not American Christians, some Japanese Christians at a Japanese church. Yeah. Everybody took their shoes off when you came into the building. Everybody did. Everybody's walking around barefoot. It was great. Little Bible book, Japanese. Good. That's good. That's where they meet. But what was really the most big thing there was that's our friend Christina. Her friend AC is who we met over there and stayed with. And her friends were praying for our trip. These Japanese girls who were probably new believers or newer believers were praying for me, and I never met them. The Christian world is so much bigger than you can imagine when you feel like you're alone. Remember, there's thousands of other believers out there, and when we get to heaven, we're going to be able to meet them, and it's going to be cool. Yep. Is that it?
Their shoes. The little kids walking around without their shoes are so cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
And those are our cats.
Oh yeah, and I just pets are great. These are our cats. It looks like an album. It's called Staring Out of Windows. It releases next summer.